it's so easy to lose sight of all that I have and all that I've accomplished and the gratitude I should have. Yep. And we commonly refer to the book, The Gap and the Gain. That's a really, really good book. And it's a good concept. So those of you that haven't read it or heard of it, you should go check it out. But welcome to Loans Elevated, the podcast that brings you the latest industry news, expert interviews, and insightful discussions that will help you stay ahead in this dynamic market. I'm your host, Broch Lassig, and I've spent years in the trenches of the mortgage industry, helping individuals and businesses navigate the complex landscape of real estate financing.
I'm your co-host, TJ Heidenreich, and together we'll cover a wide range of topics, from business strategies that skyrocket your success to mindset and motivation that fuel your growth.
Okay, welcome back to another episode. This week we are excited leading into the beginning of the holiday seasons. We thought it might be fitting to talk about gratitude. And our industry, mortgage and real estate, and anyone associated, title reps, builders, we have been going through an economic winter or recession in our industry for nearly 2 years now. And it's been challenging. And to keep the spirits high and remain in a place of gratitude it has been challenging at times. I don't know if you're feeling the same way.
I think it's a daily
100%.
Challenge for us.
Yeah, 100. I mean, every morning it's a conscious thing. Like, all right, get your act together. So primarily for people that are in our industry, we wanted to share this, some ideas, maybe some inspiration to get more grateful. But beyond that, we are now starting to hear from clients that are facing some pretty significant financial strain. We've seen massive inflation over the past couple of years. During that same period of time that we've been in an economic winter in our industry, a lot of families are starting to face issues. You got student loan payments coming up. Groceries are more expensive to buy. You want to be, buying gifts for the kids and the family for Christmas, and you want to be able to host the family for the holidays. But all this stuff is expensive, and hours are being cut, and you no longer get to work overtime at most companies. I mean,
rates going up on credit cards you weren't expecting.
Exactly. Credit card payments going up. So we're starting to find that people, even outside of our industry, are starting to face some troubles. And unfortunately, with financial troubles especially, that puts people in such a negative mindset. And it's very easy to quickly fall into pessimism and a severe lack of gratitude, a huge source of strain in the families and
I
marriage.
think society nowadays makes it hard to be gracious and have gratitude because we live in the day and age of comparison. It's so easy to get on social media and compare yourself to someone else, but you don't realize you're just seeing the highlights through social media. So
100%. Yeah, for sure. That's so big. And I mean, even there's so much comparison. I fall victim to this oftentimes.
I do too.
I see people, like producing at a higher level than me or running a business at a different level than me and
have a better life balance than me, and I get jealous.
At least the appearance is that,
right?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And it's so easy to lose sight of all that I have and all that I've accomplished and the gratitude I should have. And we commonly refer to the book, The Gap and the Gain. That's a really, really good book. And it's a good concept. So those of you that haven't read it or heard of it, you should go check it out. But another thing that it caught us flat-footed this week. I think it was this week or late last week.
Yeah.
One of our really good friends, it just out of the blue, his little daughter, 4 years old, got sick. And they took her into the hospital, and it turns out she was diagnosed with leukemia. And she's 4 years old. And I think, that day and for the week since that time, and I've got kids that same age, and so it really, really hit me hard. I was like, man, the things that I'm stressed out about and the things that I am creating or I guess stealing my personal gratitude by sulking on stresses or frustrations or a busy schedule, all this stuff is like so pathetic.
It's a drop in the bucket compared to what is
compared to so much.
Yeah.
And the reality is I should be grateful for all of the things that oftentimes tend to stress me out.
No, for sure.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel overcommitted and I've got this. It's like, all right, cool. I have tons of clients. I've got a family to go home to. I've got kids that are able and physically fit enough to go do the activities they do. And even though it's stressful and exhausting at times, and that's what kind of gets me in a tailspin because I don't get a lot of time for myself, which is the primary issue probably here. So maybe that's a big takeaway. Get time for yourself. This holiday season is big, but trying to reframe everything into a mindset of gratitude.
Right.
It's challenging, but a huge thing.
Yeah, and I think coming up with tools to help you come up with gratitude, like if it's a daily journal or if it's
meditation,
or if it's an accountability partner. I know that you and I use each other's. If one of us is not in the right mindset, we'll be like, hey, knock it off. This is what you should be grateful for.
We don't always accept it willingly.
Yeah.
Actually, very begrudgingly we accept
it's usually
feedback.
A fight, but it's necessary to have that accountability partner in business, in life, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and hopefully that also is your spouse. I know that you and I both have great spouses, and there's a lot of accountability there. So that's big. And anyway, we wanted to lay the framework and hopefully give you some inspiration, maybe refigure your thought process going into the holiday seasons. And then we wrote down a few little exercises that we came up with. So TJ, dive into that first one. This one is one that I think you should just kind of do in solitude and kind of get yourself grounded and in this nice, grateful mindset. And then after you're done with it, maybe share it with your family, your friends, and during the holiday seasons as you guys get together, it'd be a fun thing.
Yeah.
But dive into this.
Yeah. So first of all, disconnect from everything, from your phone, just 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even longer.
I mean, hell no, it's going to take a lot longer than 10 to 15 minutes. I think it's going to take like an hour or two to get through this.
I'll even typically do this as long as it takes me to feel the gratitude if I'm in a negative mindset. So you've got different aspects of your life. Write them all down. You got friends, family, money, what we got there? Marriage, work, and yourself.
So marriage/relationship.
Yeah. Yep. And then write down 10 to 15 things or however long it takes for you to feel grateful or what you are grateful for in that aspect of life.
Yeah, I guess 10 to 20. The goal is get to a list of 100 things you're grateful for. Yeah. And if you chunk it down into those things, you're hitting every aspect of your life, and it's easier.
And some you might breeze through, and some you might have to work on. Like, wait, you might have to dig deep in yourself on what you actually are grateful for in that aspect.
Like especially yourself. So often, people naturally criticize themselves and like compare, and whether it's body image or career or how far you've gotten in life, whatever it is. It's like, this is a really cool thing to kind of check yourself, get yourself in a positive mindset. And like I said, I think sharing that with your family, your kids or your spouse or even extended family with the holidays coming up, if you have the opportunity and the joy to be around family during that time. Now, another cool exercise that I've done with my wife, and I attempt to do with my kids as well. I've got younger kids, so some of this stuff is not always the easiest because they're like 4 and 6 and 1. So the 1-year-old can't do anything, and the 4 and 6-year-old just kind of like lose interest very quick. But this is really cool to do with your family around the dinner table during the holidays, or with your spouse on date night or whatever, which is another key little kind of pro tip. Date night every single week is a very awesome place to get connected with your spouse and express gratitude and even just like release the stuff that's stressing you out to keep your mindset in check. It's something I practice, and I know you practice every single week. But family and spouse. So the idea is go around the table. If it's with your family at the dinner table, go around the table and express gratitude for someone at the table. So everyone goes, and it's just like, hey, TJ, I'm grateful that you're by my side day in, day out, building this business together. And then TJ would turn back around and say, oh, cool, well, thank you. Broch, I'm grateful that you're blah, 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 whatever. And go around the table as long as you can. The crazy thing you'll find out, and if it's just you and your spouse, just go back and forth, talking about what you're grateful for each other, things they do, things within their appearance, whatever the case is, go back and forth or around the table. What you'll find is really quickly, even if you feel like you're not an emotional person, really quickly, the family their hearts will be wide open, and the family will become super connected and super grateful. It's like a magic trick to getting into the grateful spirit. And during the holidays, it's a great time to do it because the year's busy up until this time. Most of us get a little bit of a break, and it's pretty fun. So now dive into like the team, how we do this stuff at work.
We even take this approach with the team. We have a theme day, so every single Wednesday we go around the whole team and we say what our win was for the week, or if there wasn't a win, what we're grateful for. And number one, it lets us see an insight on the team, on we see them as a person, not just inside the workplace. But
that's a cool thing. One thing to point out, it's not just what was a win at work. It could be at work, but it's like what was a win. Like most of the time, it's actually personal. So you kind of get that glimpse of a more personal touch.
For sure. And then secondly, it puts anyone who has their win in a different mindset for not only the work day, but the work week. And you also get to see what other people are going through. So if they had a rough week, they can help pick up the slack and help them, really reach their full potential.
Yeah, like occasionally we'll get those like, man, this week's just been rough, and
I'm grateful just to be here today.
Yeah,
I'm grateful to be at work today.
Yes, and so then you can kind of like get on the same level with them.
Yeah,
and I think this is good stuff to do with the family too. I do this with my kids. If those of you that have kids, when I take them to school every morning, we do affirmations and gratitudes. And I can tell if one of the kids is struggling, they're, I don't want to do it today. And so, I can just be more mindful of that. Talk to mom, let her know on the way, when she picks them up from school, like maybe somebody needs a little more TLC that day. So I think these small little check-ins are good for the family too. But some other things, like you want to dive into the other ways that we try to stoke gratitude and a positive mindset in the office?
Yeah, especially the past year, it's been rough within our industry. We just try to find the small wins. Like the other day you called me after work and you're like, hey, someone knew us that we didn't know just through our work, because we've been putting a lot of work into social media and stuff like that. And we haven't really seen the fruits of our labor come through yet. So the small wins like that, someone noticed us. And yeah, we didn't have the best work week or work day that day.
It was actually a terrible day.
Well, the worst
I lost a bunch of loans due to random stuff. And I was like done tapping out, but it was so cool because, I at the end of an event, I'm like, hey, follow us at Loans Elevated. And one guy's like, oh, shoot, that's your guys' page? That's cool. I didn't know that. I love that page. Yeah. And like those tiny little things, I called TJ right after and I was like, hell yeah, it's working. It's fun.
It got us here filming another podcast.
Yeah. And then lastly, I would say, is we find times as often as possible, and I personally struggle with this hardcore, but it's something I intentionally find time to do, is praise people on just the small things, small little attaboys. It's not like, oh man, you broke a record and you blew it out of the water. I mean, of course you want praise during those times too, but it's like, hey, I heard you on the phone with that client. The way you said this was really, really good. Keep it up. That's so awesome. Or, like one of our LOs came in the other day and he had a consultation and he's just kind of learning. He's not produced a lot in his career yet as an independent LO. He's done a lot of stuff assisting the team, but he was in a consultation and working really hard to implement some of the scripts that we believe in and the messages, I guess, more so sharing what our vision is for our clients. And he was practicing that. And it's like, dude, you did a great job. And then there were small little corrections, but small little attaboys and praise, I think, go a long way. Whether it's team or kids or spouse. Like, I mean, talking right now, it frustrates me because I'm like, I should be able to say something to my wife every morning and every night. And I attempt to do that every day, but there's certain days I miss. And it's frustrating because we all need to just hear, like, you're doing good. Keep it up. And that helps get those spirits in check. And it's crazy how fast people's cups can be filled because of, like what TJ said in the beginning. We're constantly depleting our cup due to judgment and comparison and all this stuff. And it's like, it's lame. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful. I don't know if you have anything else to close on.
Hit on the head. It's perfect.
Sweet. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Happy holidays. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at Loans Elevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit loanselevated.com.